All right, everyone. Today we're going to talk a little bit about if statements and some random number generation. And we're also going to show how psychic I am. We're going to build a psychic guessing game. Now, what we're going to need for this is some random number generation, which is why I've opened up this project here with random numbers. Now, the random numbers, we need to include a couple of things here. At the start, the time, so we can nullify the random seed value. That way we can get kind of a true, well, it's true of a random number generator as we can get for right now. There are other methods we could use, but that's generally what we're going to use for now. Now I've got a couple of examples of some random number generators here. If I wanted to, for example, get 0 to 9, if I wanted to get 1 to 10, for example, those would be how, or that rather, is how I would get it. And if I just run a quick test, I should get two random numbers, a 6 and a 5, okay. And if I run it again, I should get some, go away, other numbers. Let's run it and see. There we go, 9 and a 5. And it's going to be within these range of numbers. So what we're going to do is I'm going to create a project that's just called Psychic Guessing Game. And we're going to use what we've got here to kind of decide on a random number, and we're going to guess it. So I'm just going to kind of copy that for now so I can hold on to it, but I'll paste it in the other thing. We also need that include time and all that. So I'm going to make a new project. And of course, it's going to be your standard console app. And you can put in whatever date you want. 01, 2020, whatever. And I'm just going to call it Psychic Guessing Game. Like so. And create. And of course, it'll make all the basic stuff that I don't need, so I can kind of get rid of that. And just set up the stuff I do need here. So, also need the include. And it is, here we go. I think it was time.h. There we go. All right, with that, I can do what I need to do here, which is just erase all that, make a little comment here. And I'm just going to paste that in just for right now. I need this to nullify my seed value for the random generator. Otherwise, I'll just get the same number over and over again. That's not going to be very psychic, obviously. Now, I do need to get a random number. I've got this set 0 to 9, so we'll just go with that for now. So this is going to be my secret number, so I'm just going to rename it a little bit here to secret. Now, I need the user to type in what they think the number is going to be. So I ask them to type it in, and then I have to compare. Did they get it correct? So in this case, I just, what is the secret number? Something to that effect. And of course, CN, I have to save that value somewhere. I'm just going to make a int guess. And we're just going to go ahead and guess. And of course, I have to not have this thing here. There we go. Now, I've got the secret number. It happens here. It's going to be 0 through 9. And then I ask whoever's playing this game to type in said secret number. Now that I have this, I have to check to see if I got it right. Now I'm going to have a little bit of an added thing to this. And what that added thing is going to be is simply just, if I guess too high, it'll say it's too high. If I guess too low, it'll say it's too low. And I'm doing that for, later. Once we go into loops, which will be probably from this point next week, I guess, we'll start talking about those. We will revisit this program and add some loops to it and a couple of other little features, and that's going to make this a little bit more useful. For now, we're only going to get one guess, though. So if the guess is equal to the secret number. What does that mean? Well, that means I got the number correct, right? So I just simply have to just say, you guessed correctly. You really are psychic. There we go. All right, well, what are the other options? Else if my guess is too high, for example. It's greater than secret. If that's the case, well, you guessed too high, right? Now, else, there's only one other option. If I didn't get it correct and I didn't guess too high, it's got to be too low, right? So, and now that I look at it, I should fix that right there. There we go. Mark my little brace here so I know that's where that ends. Now, you might ask, well, what if I did else if, guess is less than secret? That would work. But there is an issue. Now, with what we've got here, these are the only three options, so this would actually function. But it's really not the best way to code things. Because let's say something happens. As it's checking these ifs, the number changes. And then by some occurrence, each of these did fail. The program would have nowhere to go. So, and that can happen depending on what's going on. Maybe you change something in one of these little items here or something like that in one of these if statements. Maybe something changes somewhere else when something gets called or something. So you really want to make sure that if there's three choices, it's if, else would be that last choice. Again, that would still work, but there are going to be times where that would fail, like something would change and all of a sudden none of those would run. And then you have no else, no catch-all, basically, to catch anything. I could do if, else if, and then have an else that said, basically, this should never happen. And then I would know something weird is going on if it ever made it there. That's possible. But you should have an else for every one of these little if items you've written up, depending on how you're doing it. And this is just, if everything else fails, it's going to go to this. And you want it to go to something instead of nothing. All right, well, let's see. I've got my secret number. I've got my guess. I can type stuff in, and we can compare. So let's see if I'm psychic. I'll run my program. It'll pop over here and ask me the secret number. At this point, it's already figured it out. So I'm going to say 9. Look at that. I'm psychic. All right, well, we don't need to do anything else. As you can see, I'm psychic. So, program's over. Video's over. I think that's good. Well, I guess I should run one more time. Can't hurt, right? Well, then, what's the secret number? 6. I guessed too high. Okay, well, I missed that time, but I got it right the first time. I was deliberately trying to miss this time, so, not to put people in awe of my psychic prowess. But as you can see, it said I guessed too high, which means that my number was probably, a little bit lower than the 6 that I typed in. So if I do it again and I guess real low, let's go ahead and do that. Might as well. I'm just going to choose the lowest possible number. That should do it. 0. Oh, wait, you just jumped off the screen on me. There we go. I guessed too low. So that worked. Now, of course, I don't know what that number actually is, but I did get it right the first time. So I've seen every outcome here. Now, if I wanted to know what it truly was, I could do a little print statement and kind of cheat a little bit just to make sure all the little conditions work. And then I would take out that print so, the thing would actually function like it's supposed to. But it wouldn't be a bad idea to actually see, like, the results so I can kind of check each one of those. That would be how you would test this thing. So there you go. A quick rundown on psychic guessing game. So you can play with this. You can change the range if you want to, and see just how psychic you really are. Now, once we revisit this, I'm going to add some loops, and I'm going to increase the range to, let's say, 100 or something like that. So what's going to happen is we'll have 100 numbers to choose from instead of just the 10. Right now, you have a 10% chance to get it right, effectively, every time this runs. 10% chance. Now, if I add it to 100, you'll have a 1% chance every time this runs. But the way we're going to do it is you're going to keep being able to guess. And of course, you're going to get a little hint as to which direction to go. And you may not believe me now, but I'll tell you that you can actually guess the correct number in 7 guesses, maximum, with that setup. So we'll see that in the future. So look forward to it. Go ahead and save this. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask. But that's the rough gist of the psychic guessing game.